Hey guys, I'm coming back. If you guys have kind of joined this channel in the last while, I've taken a bit of a break. This has been quite the year for our family, and to be honest, my homeschool inspiration has just been down the drain. And if you're not inspired in your own homeschool, it's very hard to try to inspire and encourage other people in theirs. But I feel the wave is coming again. Some things are happening in the personal life that are making it possible to homeschool again. So if you guys don't know, I do have a booktube channel where I talk all about books. I read a lot. I've been sharing lots of books there. I also have a personal channel where I've been talking about the fact that we're moving provinces here in the next while. We're going to be planting a church. Life has been focused on that lately, getting the house ready to sell. Like, so much cleaning, you guys, so much cleaning. But now I feel at a pretty good place in regards to that, and I'm realizing our homeschool has been slacking, and so now I am like changing it up, like stirring the pot, shaking things up, doing almost everything different, and I haven't fully implemented all this, so this is me in the moment, not me saying do these things, they're amazing, but me saying these are what we are going to try and hopefully they are amazing. That's generally how I tend to approach my YouTube channels. They're more like follow me for the journey, not necessarily always do what I do. So whenever we're about to try something different, I always feel inspired to like share these ideas with you, and then you guys always end up giving me more ideas. That's another reason too that I like to share before everything's fully implemented, because chances are you guys are going to say something amazing and I'm going to be like, yes, we need to add that in. And if I had everything worked out perfectly, we wouldn't have space for that. So I'm counting on you guys to help me out here a bit. So just a recap, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. They are foster kids, and the 5-year-old does go to every other day kindergarten. That's what we have here. We don't have permission to homeschool him, but I do some stuff with him when he's at home. Then homeschooling wise, I'm homeschooling a 5th grader and an 8th grader. Yeah, I think so. We're almost at the end of the school year and I still don't know what grades they're in. It's like that whole homeschool meme. It does actually ring true. Actually, what I should do is I should grab my homeschool notebook because I wrote some things down and otherwise I'll forget something. So even while I've been taking a break here, I have been sharing exclusive homeschool like videos over on my homeschool membership, just sharing things as I'm going, sharing a few different homeschool content in regards to videos, as well as a few little products that I've kind of been making for our own homeschool. So like I said, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. I'm not majorly focusing on them. I haven't been lately, but I think I'm going to be more in the near future here. So I just made what I'm calling preschool morning pages. They're like for ages 2 to 5. They're very simple. I just put them into a page protector and it just helps with repetition, with like writing their names, their ages, learning the days of the week and the months and a few different things like that. So that is one thing that we are implementing. And then for the most part, for the next like month or two, it's just going to be like the general preschool-y type stuff with reading books and nothing very formal there. But in the summer, I think I will get a little bit more formal with that. A couple weeks ago, I did share a video in my membership about how we were in a homeschool rut. And one of the things I decided to try to switch up was teaching textbooks a try. And so my 5th grader has been trying that, and now my 8th grader has as well. And that's going like decently well. So teaching textbooks has a free trial. You can try any grade that they have. The first 15 lessons of every grade are free. And then after that, I think it's $50 American for an entire year per grade. So it's totally reasonable. And I like that the first 15 lessons are free because we haven't done a whole lot of like structured math stuff. And I have no idea like where my kids are. So we've been able to like try out a few different levels to see what actually works for them before buying something and realizing like, oh, they're not actually at this level. So I wouldn't say anyone's loving it, but I don't think anyone's hating it. So we're gonna keep going with that, see where we end up with that. Like I said, we haven't really done any formal math stuff. We've done some Khan Academy. Math has never been my strong suit, and I'm really leery of buying a math curriculum because I'm just scared I'm not going to be able to figure it out and then be able to teach them. I like teaching textbooks. It has an app. It has the video lessons. We have done a little bit of Good and Beautiful math as well. I don't know. If you guys have math suggestions, I would love to hear what you use and why you love it. Maybe we'll change things up. And then today, my research has just been all of the things. Erin from the Eclectic Homeschooler, I love her channel. She is, well, she's such a great woman to begin with, but her homeschool is very similar to ours, or at least her desires for her homeschool are. And my biggest priority, I always say, our homeschool, like I steal our theme for our homeschool from our church, which is to love Jesus, love people, help people love Jesus. And I like to think that we're always improving on that. I'm not sure. But the things I was focusing mostly on in my research on things we wanted to do different coming up here were language arts and science. And I would also like to do some more geography because I personally love geography, but I didn't find anything amazing there yet. And then I did find a few what look like really cool resources, but of course being in Canada, I couldn't justify the shipping for some of the items, so I didn't research them as much. Like, I was close to biting the bullet on a couple things, and then I realized shipping was about $100 for like a $75 thing. And I can't do that. I wish more companies had digital downloads. Like, I love me a printed copy of something, but not if it's going to cost me $100 just to get, just to pay the shipping. Okay, so all that to say, I've been looking mostly at the Good and the Beautiful. I don't agree with all their philosophy or anything, but they have some really good resources. I've been looking at Progeny Press, I think that's what it's called. I heard about that one from Erin. And yeah, I think those are the ones that I've kind of landed on because they had digital download options, and the Good and the Beautiful has a lot of free stuff, which is great. So one thing that we're going to be doing right after this, I'm going to go get it printed, the student books printed from Staples. Hopefully I can overlay some shots of that. We're going to be trying their free marine biology unit. This is an 8 or 9 week unit. I don't actually remember. Maybe it's 12. It's a 12 lesson unit. I think we're going to do it weekly. And so it comes with a teacher guide that I will just be using digitally. And then there's a student book for grades 3 to 6 and another one for 7, 8. So my kids fit in there perfectly. I'm going to get those printed. We're going to give that a try. And like I said, we're going to try that once a week. Marine biology is interesting. It's never something I've loved or really been into, but I'm curious to see how this is formatted. It looks a lot like how Gather Round does their stuff, but a little bit simpler. I find Gather Round has a little bit too much in their stuff for our still slightly unschooly approach to things. Also, I should mention, I've been really once again, I do this all the time. I've just been oh, I should just bite the bullet and just be totally Charlotte Mason, kind of diving into all the philosophy stuff again. And I always love it, but I can never stick to it. I know that about myself, but I still love to kind of dive in a bit. Okay, so science, we're going to be trying Good and Beautiful Marine Biology as a together thing. And then for my 5th grader, we are going to be trying the Good and the Beautiful's language arts. We're going to try level 4 because we haven't really, I think we've tried it. No, did he even try it? I don't even remember. I don't know if we've ever tried it. So then I like to start things off a little easier. And so I've printed out the first few lessons for him and the things I need for myself to give it a try. The one thing that I struggle with their stuff is I always feel like the download has so many different files, and when this is where I do like a physical copy of things because you have to kind of bounce back and forth between things, but when they're all digital, I struggle with that a bit, but we're gonna give that a try. And then for my 8th grader, I purchased the Hobbit, I don't know what it's actually called. It's pretty much a literature unit from Progeny Press. And I really liked in Erin's video when she was talking about her curriculum at the beginning, well, it was pretty much a year ago, talking about what her 9th grader was going to be doing. And she was using a couple of their literature units. And I love how in-depth it goes and how it has a very strong Christian focus. And so my plan is to read The Hobbit, reread it alongside my daughter. She's read it like multiple times, but she's never like dove in with as much as an intensive study as this is. So I think that will be good for both of us. I want to reread it. I've been meaning to reread it for a long time, so that will be good. And then I also used the Good and the Beautiful's book list a little bit to come up with a couple more books that I think I want, like my 8th grader, oh man, to read in the future. And one of them that was on there was Understood Betsy, which is one of the classics I want to read for this year, so we might read that one together as well. So, oh yeah, and then for my 5th grader, 2 books that popped up that I've heard of before that I think I'm gonna get him to read in the next while are Helen Keller. I don't have the author's name in front of me here. I think it's like a Scholastic print of her story. And then The Toothpaste Millionaire. That's another one I've heard things about. I think that might be a Sunlight book as well. And Sunlight, I often go onto their website and like look at all the books that they suggest for different years. I went on there today thinking maybe we should just buy a Sunlight curriculum, like a whole package. Never done that before. But now they've changed their website and I'm struggling to understand how it's everything's laid out now. And also I would really be interested in purchasing one of the grades or whatever, however they have it set up for high school for my 8th grader. But there is such a focus on American history, and I don't want to buy a bunch of American history books as a Canadian. Like, I don't want to dive in that deep. So the other thing that I did, oh yeah, somebody in the comments mentioned on a older video that Ambleside has a Canadian version. So I looked that up. And there was 2 books that they recommend for Canadian history. There was The Penguin History of Canada, and there's another one. I got this one out from the library. I haven't looked at it yet, and I've requested the other one. So I will kind of compare the 2, and then I'm curious to see if these seem useful or if they're just very dry. That's a bit of a fear. So this whole video, just to say, I'm like changing up everything. This channel has grown while I've been gone. There's been lots of requests for me to bring it back, to come back and talk about our homeschool and our method and everything. Maybe after hearing how I'm like changing everything, maybe people don't want to hear about it anymore, but hopefully some of you guys want to follow in the journey. I don't have a plan for like how often I'm going to be posting here because life is crazy right now. So just when I have things to post, I'll share them here. Like I said before, if you guys want extra homeschool content, if you want to be part of my monthly book club, that's all over on my homeschool membership. In the month of May, I've just announced that we are going to be reading For the Children's Sake by Susan Schaefer Macaulay. I have meant to read this book for years and years. So I figured the best way to get myself to read it was to make it a book club pick, and then I have to read it. So that's May's plan. I want people to know about it early enough so that they can get their hands on the book. I still need to get my hands on the book. I think I want to buy one. I've taken it out from the library probably like half a dozen times and never read it. I don't think I've even like started it. So this is the spring that will happen. So welcome back to my channel. No idea what's gonna come, but I hope to give an update in a while, like sharing how these things that we are trying out are going. And like I said, if you guys have recommendations for us in the comments, if you guys have a favorite resources, favorite curriculum, anything, please let me know, because I'm definitely looking for some resources right now. Thanks so much for sticking around and hanging out with me today.